Junior, you ninny! How could you let them escape? I can't believe you just sat on me and watched them get away. I should have left you back on the apprehension and come myself. It's not like you or that fellow you brought with you have done me any good by being here. Now, where's that big gumdrop fella?"
The leader of this place, whatever its name was, had aided and abetted the crew of the SS Acid Rat. If it had just stayed back and remained quiet for a little longer, just 1 second longer, he could have gotten cuffs on Vic, and then all this would be over and they'd be on their way. That didn't happen. That thing got in the way and the crew escaped. That wasn't even the worst part of this whole debacle. Junior had been standing next to 2 of them and could have had them in custody long before anything had gone wrong. What did that boy do? He just stood there talking with 2 criminals and that big gumdrop. BT shook his head. "Daddy, I think that's it over there. Blue! Blue!" Junior waved his hand in the air to try and get the thing's attention.
"What did you just call that thing?"
"It's the ruler of this planet, I think. At least it's the only one that's spoken. The rest are clones, but that's not what he called them. Before you came over, I was trying to get all the information."
"Are you an officer?"
BT Justice asked. "Yes?" Junior stopped and turned.
"Well, what do you do when you interrogate someone, or ever a group of people?"
Junior's mouth slowly opened, but as expected, he didn't say anything.
"You turn on your recorder and connect to the con so everyone near you can hear the conversation." BT hit Junior with his hat. "Now let's get over there and talk with that thing. We need to find out where that crew got off to."
The big gumdrop started toward them. Now that BT had a moment to calm down and catch his breath, he gave the thing a thorough once-over. It looked exactly like a miniature of the larger beings. That wasn't so uncommon. Many larger species were ruled by smaller beings. Perhaps this race was like that. It didn't have a face, only eyes. Those didn't blink or show any expression, but just stared. They were also huge, probably the size of BT's hand. It didn't wear any clothes or carry anything. It just was a big blob with eyes. BT squinted and swore the thing was even translucent. So where was its brain? How did its muscles work? Did it have muscles? Trivial. He was getting distracted. They needed answers. And leader, ruler, king, god, whatever this thing was, it was going to provide them with answers. From where the crew had gone to how they got off this rock. That made him laugh. They needed to get out of this rock. That gave him a brief pause. He hadn't thought about being inside a planet before. He looked up through the latticework, over the big pool filled with ugly yellow water, and stared at the star in the sky.
"I see you're still here. I am glad you decided to stay and talk with me. Sheriff Buford T. Justice."
The thing turned to Junior. "Officer Junior Justice, we were speaking before with June Miller and Joey Provoski. We were talking about what you think might have happened. I am glad we can continue our talks. It would appear that our scientists are trying to keep the star from opening the ports at the top and bottom of the planet. These ports allow us to take in energy from the star outside our planet, but nothing is happening. I fear that something has gone wrong." Junior clasped his hands together. "I think what June and Joey were trying to tell you is that they towed your planet away from your home star." "I do not understand. How could this have happened? For many centuries, we have gone around our planet and built our society. How is it that they came to us?" "I don't have that answer for you. We need to find them and ask them."
"Yes!"
Finally, Sheriff Justice saw his spot to interrupt.
"That's exactly what we need to do. Find the crew of the SS Acid Rat. I can take them off your hands, and we can be on our way."
"I don't see how taking them away will help us resolve this situation." The way the patch below the thing's eyes vibrated when it spoke didn't look right. BT cleared his throat, but before he could say anything, Stan finally caught up to them and bumped into BT and Junior. "Excuse me, I ran over here as fast as I could. Is there anything I can do?" The officer was quite out of breath and put his hand on Junior's shoulder and bent over trying to get control of himself.
"As I was about to say before I was so rudely interrupted, I think it would be best if I collected the crew of the SS Acid Rat, and all of us can just depart and let you get along?
That does not solve the problem my planet is facing.
That's not my problem. That's your problem. My son and I had nothing to do with...
What is a son? The thing inched closer to Junior.
My boy.
All of you are so peculiar. I wish I had time to study you. Unfortunately, our planet is having a severe crisis. Are you sure there's nothing you can do to help us?
Have you heard anything I said? This isn't our responsibility. I'm just here to collect the crew of the Acid Rat and be on my way. Why are you making this more difficult than it has to be? Now, which way did they go?
Are you saying you will not leave until you have them? This time the thing inched toward BT.
That is exactly what I am saying.
Very well. Then I have no choice. I require their assistance, and, if you wish to take them away, I will not inform you of their location until after I have received their help. Sheriff Justice looked at the ground. This had not gone the way he'd planned, not in the slightest. He rubbed his eyes and took a deep breath.
I would like you to reconsider.
The thing turned around and went toward the pool. Sheriff Justice wasn't done talking to it yet. He wasn't done negotiating. This wasn't how it was supposed to turn out.
Hold on a minute. Wait. Stop.
He ran forward and reached out to grab the thing's shoulder. As he did, the thing fell forward into the pool. BT, thinking it was going to stop, slid on the floor and followed into the pool. The water, or liquid, felt like a warm bath. At first he tried to scan about and see where the thing had gone, but he had trouble seeing in the water. It wasn't that it was too murky to see, just that it seemed to go on forever, like the pool didn't have a bottom. BT hadn't been swimming since he was a little boy. This wasn't a good time to take up the habit. He started to stroke and kick, but the surface didn't grow any closer. He kicked harder and thrashed with his hands, but still, he didn't feel like he was rising.
Don't panic. That's the worst thing you can do. Just try to stay calm. Keep swimming. Keep swimming.
Something grabbed him around the waist. He was going to die. He just knew he was going to die. It wasn't fair. Not like this. He was so close to catching the only criminals that had ever gotten away from him, and here he was, inside a strange planet, under some weird water, being pulled down by a beast unknown. He didn't want Junior to have to live with seeing his daddy die like this. He couldn't. He kicked again and tried to shake off whatever had grabbed him around the waist, but his fingers just passed through more liquid. That's when he realized he wasn't going down, but up. His head broke the surface of the water, and he filled his lungs with fresh air. Before he knew it, he was lying on the floor between Junior and Stan.
What happened?
He choked out.
Daddy, are you all right?
Junior started pounding on BT's chest. Stan pulled him back.
Junior, he's breathing. Just let him get some air. Sir, are you all right?
Sheriff Justice took a couple long breaths.
I'll be fine. What happened?
It looked like a tentacle made out of the same watery stuff in the pool. Sort of pulled you out of there. Then it disappeared back into the water. Stan patted BT's body and checked his eyes.
I thought we were going to lose you, Daddy. You were so far down.
Stan looked at the pool. It's strange. You're completely dry. I don't think whatever that is water.
Well, does anyone see that leader person anywhere? We need to find the crew of the Acid Rat, and that blasted thing doesn't seem to want to help us. Maybe if we come back with some guns, we could talk some sense into it. Junior, what kind of firepower do we have back on the cruiser?
Sir, that's not an advisable course of action.
And did I ask you? I think I asked my son if we had any weapons. I think you're forgetting your place.
Junior, I think you need to explain to your father that we need to pack this in, cut our losses, and get back to our ship. We've been out of contact for nearly an hour, and if the crew of the apprehension is following protocol, they'll be contacting GCP Central Office and informing them of the situation. Your father is on probation, and if we're caught helping him break the law, there's a chance we'll end up in trouble as well. BT struggled to get to his feet as he reached to pull his hat off and swat Stan Unfortunately, his hat was floating somewhere in the middle of the big pool.
Now you listen here, and you listen good. The crew of the Apprehension is loyal to the Justice family. Junior and I are down here, and they're not going to call anyone for help. If you can't keep your mouth shut, then I suggest you hightail it on back to the cruiser and wait for us to come back with our prey. Have I made myself clear?
Stan stared at Junior, waiting for him to say something. Junior's lower lip quivered, as if the boy was about to burst into tears.
Daddy, I don't know what to do here. Things have changed since you were away.
Stan put his hand on Junior's shoulder.
Relax, Junior. Everything is going to be fine.
There was something funny about the way Stan spoke to Junior. BT couldn't put his finger on it. Why had the officer come along, and why was he always around Junior as if he was protecting the boy? The sheriff shook his head. He'd have to sort all that out later.
Listen, we know they went this way. Maybe we can talk to some of the guards, and they'll help us find them. They couldn't have gotten far.
Are you sure you're all right, Daddy? You were down there for an awfully long time.
I'm fine. Now let's go find them.
You've been listening to Hollow, V&A Shipping, Book 2, written and read by J.R. Murdoch. For more information about this production and its author, visit jrmurdoch.com. There are a lot of ways you can choose to spend your time. Thank you for choosing to spend it with me.